So, we are loading into battle with our Carthaginian forces. Yes, I've gone for a 2 versus 2 today, just to try something a little bit different. So, we're just going to have to see how this is going to go. I think I've got 2 pikemen here, and then quite a few hoplites, and some of the Libyan sort of just heavy infantry. I thought about going for a really pike-intense army, but decided that it's not really quite what I wanted to do. It's going to be a bit of a tough one. Really, I'd like to put my pikes in the centre, to be honest. I think I would be better off making the mainstay of the army over these sort of Romans. Who've gone for kind of quite a mixed setup. It'd be better to put not the medium spear infantry in the front line, but fair enough. Can I base off this point then? I'm going to pikes there, because this is kind of what these guys are sort of all about. These heavy, very heavy pikes who are going to hold sort of the centre line. I'm having to deploy a bit more now, and as and when I can pick into choose and support. Obviously, we're going to have our ranged units, so let's group those guys up. Put it down the middle. Oh wow, we're running out of time already. Okay, we're going to have to be quick about this. Let's get these guys in a bit of a line down there. Let's just shimmy that line over slightly. We don't have a too big a gap between them and our sort of support units. That gives us 2 units of Libyan heavy infantry, probably down on the flanks. We don't know how wide their formation is going to go, you see. And that probably gives me sort of 3 units to probably hide in this forest, actually, to be fair. Then we've got quite a few of our cavalry who is going to go on the wing. And then, of course, our general's probably going to work around the centre. He's going to be the one who's making sure of that debuff to try and get those enemies routing as quickly as we can. Okay, so that's a fairly long line. Our allies are going fairly concentrated here in the centre. I think that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that necessarily. We've spread ourselves out a lot more because that's kind of our unit types. Pikemen! You know, I'm hoping these pikemen are going to be these excellent African pikemen who look very armoured, actually, to be fair, for pikes. Jeez, they've got some big old pikes. You will not want to be running at the front of that. Are hopefully going to be sort of forming this sort of central block against the enemy. We've actually looked like they've split themselves up quite a lot more than we have. What have these guys got? Some Thracian. Oh no, some heavy sword infantry. Okay, badass. Quite a lot of slingers. Awful lot of slingers actually. Then some sort of these relatively lightly armoured, probably very aggressive barbarian types infantry. Some of these, I think these are like Iberian, Spanish type nation. And some noble warriors who look pretty well armoured. Okay, and over here obviously we are fighting up against some of the enemy Romans. Pretty traditional Roman army as you'd expect. Got some Hastati flanking down at the front, but then pretty heavy legionary infantry. We've got some proper cohorts at the back, and quite a lot of auxiliary cavalry as well. Oh, some gladiators. Okay, they're going to have a bit of a bit lightly armoured, targeting them with the slingers. We've got some slingers, some levies, and so 2 units of enemy slingers force to contend with. Okay, it's going to be an interesting match, I think. It looks like they are advancing on us, which, to be fair, I'm kind of fine with that. We've got a Roman Scorpion field piece there. You know, we could push them, but given that the relatively defensive nature of our units and the fact they're coming for us anyway, I think we're going to just sort of hang on here. We can push these Libyans in as well as when we need. If they try and push really wide, you know, overextend the length of my line, then I'm happy to, you know, commit these units further down the flank, to sort of as a rear guard action. We just don't quite know how they're going to pan out yet. What sort of range have we got on these guys? Sort of up to about here. Pretty good range actually. Reload. What does that do? That increases the load rate. Looks like some of our light artillery is open fire. The enemy's got some. Oh, quite a lot of cavalry. Actually, a hell of a lot of cavalry. That's going to be interesting for us because there's quite a lot of threat there. Whereas we've really got a lot on this flank cavalry, so maybe we should think about pulling our cavalry out a little bit more to the centre. Balance that up. We don't know if these Romans have got any cavalry really to unleash. Oh, we did see a little bit, didn't we? But that's some very heavy shot cavalry. Hey, unexpected. It's a really interesting combination of stuff. Seeing if they keep pushing their units forward, they're going to come into range of my slingers if they're not careful. Roman auxiliary cavalry there. These guys have got tons of cavalry though. Quite light cavalry though, generally, as you sort of probably expect with a barbarian nation, but they're fast. So they're going to be able to pick and choose the nature of their fight. They brought up most of their ranged units. I suspect, are they starting to bring some rocks yet? No, they're not, but they must be pretty close now. Some enemy light missile infantry over here. Okay. Interesting. Well, let's keep our unit of cavalry up here then, perhaps. Because if they're going to start to push them up, that's going to introduce interesting problems. They've now got this high ground down here. If they choose to stand and hold, it could prove to be a bit of a sticking point for us, as they're continuing to move up most of these units. And of course, we're losing visibility on most of them now, as they're taking sort of refuge in that forest. Repositioning some of these spear infantry down in the forest. Well, we've got some war elephants as well, so it could be interesting there. Which way are we going to go? I don't want to open fire against something like a heavy. Oh, that has started. Actually, not that heavy, but still, not really what I want to target mostly.
The enemy is
they're
attacking
opening
our
fire
ally.
with their rounds from some of their slingers. Do quite a lot of damage, which they actually are doing against these medium spear infantry. That's fine. Kind of as we expected. We don't know what these guys here are doing yet. These are javelin men, are they not? Yeah, they are. So they've got to get pretty close before they can sort of form any engagement. These Romans here don't seem keen to force a fight.
Slingers!
We could bring our slingers down in support if we want to try and force the issue. But they do outnumber us. If they go for us, then I'm convinced we're going to be winning that slinger fight. Or do we bring our slingers further up? Maybe into the sort of the refuge of the forest here. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. And then if they try and push any of their ranged units close to us, we're going to have that range advantage. It does kind of leave our ally here a little bit vulnerable because he's not really brought any ranged units other than his artillery. So I think he's going to have a bit of a hard time getting much damage on. And if he's getting his artillery too close, then he's going to end up causing quite a lot of damage to himself if he's not careful. Let's see. The allied enemy columns moving up now, starting to get into his attacking testudo, moving up. Obviously, these are not the sort of units I want to be targeting. I might just turn off auto fire.
As you say.
Guard mode as well. I want these guys to get into position. We get the higher ground as well. But there's no point shooting. I don't want them to waste their ammunition or something like this. So starting, particularly not when we know we're not going to be able to beat them.
Baal Hamon has blessed us.
We were going to hoplite wall if it comes to it. But we'll wait till they get a bit closer first. Not being shot at anything yet. No real engagements going on. Oh, the enemy has gone all ham with... Blimey, what was he thinking with his cavalry and his elephants, who are now completely running amok? They're actually killing quite a lot of stuff, probably, but it's not really what I would have done. Necessarily.
Battle ready and eager.
Okay, now that is the sort of target I want to be going for. Get our slingers to open fire if they can.
Libyan infantry! Melee cavalry at your command!
If they're going to leave the opportunity.
Advance!
We can at least drive
Our
them off,
hidden
maybe.
units have been discovered.
Which is good for us, because it enables our guys to get shots.
My lord!
Go for a quick reload, try and get as much damage as we can, particularly if they run. You see they take quite an impressive amount of damage there. Oh, wall! We're a bit slow there, but not too bad. Okay, so the first fight is broken out down there. That's fine. Whoa, 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 whoa. Absolute ton of enemy cavalry is coming in here. Okay, we're going to have to take that fight. Let's bring our reinforcements in now. Wow, the enemy general just got absolutely went ham there. Was not expecting that. Okay, let's start to pull a bit further down the line with our slingers, because they're now a little bit vulnerable. Our cavalry are now kind of the ones holding the line entirely. Our hoplites should do pretty well there, they are. Get stuck into these guys here. Around, try and protect the flanks. I want to really try and get stuck into them. I'll push further in if I can. Come on round, people. I think our infantry, once we get stuck into a fight like this, should be able to do us pretty proud. Like, at least my hope anyway. There's a fairly heavy infantry here we've got going on. But we are fighting some pretty tough old cavalry units, so I'm not sure it's going to be that easy. Let's bring up our reinforcing cavalry.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
Not going to go so well. Yeah, we're going to get hit bad here. Okay, so a lot of... Oops, no, don't you do that. So a lot of our guys are now engaged right across the front against these Romans heavy infantry. You know, we're not that great against these sort of people, I don't think, although we are winning against some of these Hastati at least.
Our general is under attack.
I'll push into that. You probably don't need to. Come on, people. Do as you're told. Looks like they ran their guys into the front of my spear walls. That's a whole enemy unit destroyed. That is at least is one good thing. And they're now focusing their attention there, trying to get me people
Our
to
men
rout.
flee the field of battle. This is a
So
shameful
these guys
display.
are pretty well engaged against these enemy cavalry, and we're doing quite a good job of beating off some of these enemy units here by the looks of it. Our guys are engaged there. Push along. You keep going on down there. You can continue to engage these heavy melee cavalry here. Try and get maximum sort of amounts of damage on them when we can. Although it looks like some of our people here are on the brink of being really pushed hard on this flank here. Even though we're winning these central bits, I don't think it's going to be enough for us. It looks like we've broken some of the enemy cavalry. Nice. Try and just get a few kills there before they completely rout. What have we got here we can make use of our skirmishes on? Try and get some focus fire on their enemy cavalry. And then bring our cavalry around. Now's a real opportunity to try and counter-attack.
Our men flee the
Come
field
on,
of battle.
let's get our guys stuck in
This
here
is
if
a
we can.
shameful display.
Okay, so I wouldn't say things are going too badly yet. Not at least quite yet, anyway. So it's quite the fight going on here. We've got them fairly surrounded. We're holding off against these Hastati, not too bad. Further along the line, things are going a lot worse, I think.
Libyan infantry.
Let's try and push some more of our reinforcements in now against these Trastriarii here. Push you guys into there. They're routing. That's fine. We can't do everything about all of these people. There's the enemy general, actually. It might be a worthwhile target, but it looks like we're now engaged against these shock cavalry here anyway. If they start to rout, we can make use of our wounded ability to try and get them to rout. They're not going to have an opportunity to fall into a shield wall, really. Try and get everyone on this Triaria. We've got them sort of caught in amongst all our troops, and as they're pulling through, I reckon we can cause some heavy casualties there.
Slingers.
Use slingers, shoot what you can. Okay, pull out please and reform over here. Okay, so it's turning into a pretty intense fight at all parts, isn't it?
Pikemen at your command.
Bring you round if you can. Form new ranks. Looks like our ally. I don't know if it's going well. Not especially going well, is it?
The enemy general is dead.
Oh, that is good. A good job, slingers, on killing the enemy general there.
We await your orders.
You know, come on guys, let's get out now. Oh, actually, having said that, I changed my mind. Let's try and rout this guy. Come on. Yes, he's shattered. Good job. That is exactly what we wanted. Okay, pull you out. You need to move now. Just go straight ham for these enemy legionaries here into the back. Come on. Right. Good job, people. Good job. Okay, what have we got left? That's an allied general there. So we've got some of this enemy cavalry kicking around, which we've now got a good opportunity to try and make use of. Come on, let's try and get stuck into these people. Big javelin toss into the back. Quite a few casualties hopefully caused there. Nice job, people. Okay. This is an intense game. Let's try and move you back up into some more sort of range if we can. Where are you going to go? Come on, let's get you moving up. Get you around. Start to try and clear up some of these fights here, I think. Try and give us back a bit of a more reasonable footing on trying to win some of these engagements. Give us freeing up some more troops for us to be able to get you stuck in. Oh, looks like we've got some enemy slingers coming up. Let's push around onto them. They've been terrorising my ranged units for most of the game, and I think it's now time to maybe try and turn that balance back in our favour a little bit. Some of our people getting stuck there in the centre. Looks like, getting hammered a little bit by some of those slingers, but at least we've now got one of those units properly engaged. Let's bring our general around and try and go for the second. As our pikemen are now starting to push up a little bit into these enemy legionaries, try and apply a bit of pressure to them. Hopefully we're not causing any friendly fire, or not too much friendly fire. Around here, how are things going? Not too badly, actually. Pushing around on them. These guys are being pelted in the back by the slingers. And we have got all their enemy range units now in trouble. Things aren't going so badly. For us, at least. It's going pretty badly for our allies. But I think if it was a 1v1, we'd have won this by now. Yeah, look at them. They've broken. Awesome job. Onwards, my people. Onwards. They have broken and they have shattered. Both of those have shattered. Right, nice. Pull these people back on. That is all the enemy range they're dealt with. We are now going hard for a victory. We'll keep our general out.
The gods are with us.
Are these routing? Not quite. They will be momentarily, I think. There they go, they're shattered now. Just push you straight on. We're going just hammering at a massive blob, but it's kind of working because it's just tipping the balance in our favour. I think they're just trying to get out now. Let's go for a charge. Pin these guys in like that. Nice job. Come on, let's get them. Push in infantry. I know our general is now very much in danger. Come on, let's try and get some of these people to rout. Go on. Wavering. Will it do? General dead? Come on! Our general's fallen. Come on, people. You've got to push forwards. They're not actually getting sufficiently far forward. I'm just going to drag them through a little bit. I know this is really bad. Right, form ranks. Let's try and make some sort of new defensive line here with what we've got. Oh, we've got enemy cavalry over there as well. Try and keep pushing into this fight here. Try and get some of these people to rout. Really what we need.
gives us strength.
Is there going to be any easy way of doing this? No, not really. Is there? Come out of fair.
An entire unit has perished.
Trying to sort of think about making myself into like a little box.
Quick march!
At least as we try and get some of these Romans.
Break them!
Get you out of phalanx briefly. Come on, cut down some of these cavalry here. They're shattered the rest of the people. Just try and kill these guys off. They've not got very many left of these heavy melee cavalry. I think if it was a 1v1, that would be an easy win because that's pretty much his last unit now completely dead. But with the remaining situation, it's going to be pretty tough for us to do a lot, I think. Okay, let's reform ourselves up. What's the situation? Some of our allies are still fighting on. Let's start to pressure some of these enemies here. Okay, let's go. Let's go, 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 go. Start to apply the pressure. Our ally is pretty much going to be dead, and then we're going to be surrounded by all these Gauls, or these sort of tribal people, which I don't think we're going to be able to really catch, because I've not got any fast infantry left. I should have perhaps kept some of my cavalry alive, because I could really chase down this entirely vulnerable unit of slingers here. But unfortunately I didn't, and that was probably a massive error on my part. So let's just form ourselves into an entirely new line. Try and do it quickly and try and do it neatly. Let's see what we can do here. I think this is going to be too hard for us to do
Our
much.
ally has been destroyed.
Because they've still got quite a bit of mobility in lots of their stuff. They are a bit light on the ground on actual tough infantry. They've got a lot of slingers, and we don't know the missile situation of their slingers. They may be pretty low. We just don't really know. Now, I'm just going to move him a little bit wider so that I can select these guys, drag them out a little bit like that, like a slightly wider front.
At the ready. Double time.
There's a flanking unit there. Some of these Libyan infantry are pretty unhappy. A lot of our people are pretty worn out. There's been some pretty tough fighting going on for a lot of these troops. So what are they going to do? Are they going to come to us, or are we going to have to advance on them? Let's just sort of see. I know I'm also giving them time to reform, which isn't necessarily the right thing to be doing. But kind of given our relatively spear and pike heavy nature, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing in a way. I'd rather they came at me, but we just don't know if they're going to or not. What have they got left in terms of actual infantry? Some heavy melee, some very heavy, a very full unit of nobles in really good condition, although they are actually exhausted. No, I think we're going to advance.
Our men flee the field of
single
battle.
time.
This is a shameful display.
In neat order, advance. This is very fun, this game, I must admit. It is brilliant when you get to do this. Look at them, they look a bit worn out, some of them. With their heads hung down. These guys look absolutely exhausted. All the stones coming in now. Shields up! Oh, goodness. A river of rocks. They're not very happy about that. They are wavering like anything. Obviously our general is dead. I was trying not to double time it because you lose missile block a little bit if you do.
Our men flee the field of battle.
There is certain
This
advantages
is a
to it.
shameful display.
I think we'll double time this. And obviously we're going to get flanked by the enemy cavalry. Oh, look how much missile damage we're taking. Just in case we get the opportunity to catch some of them missiles. Come on, pikes down, pikes down, pikes down! Oh! Good job. Oh, that could be a real important one against their heavy melee unit. Sounds silly, but that could actually be a critical junction there. We have got a lot of this enemy cavalry kicking around, though. They're going to go for the rear of my pikemen, I know. We are, of course, trying to cause as many casualties as we can in the meantime. Killing some of their shielded warriors. We just don't know how much ammunition they've got. That is the literal million-dollar question. Oh, the cavalry in the back. Brutal. Oh, look at this. And they used the debuff as well. They saved it right to the best, to the last. I think that's going to be too much for me, for my people. Rear flanks. Yeah, the extra mobility they had. This is just like Total War Arena, as I always say. I much prefer the mobile units because it really gives you that choice. Those cavalry fights like that, exactly what they should have done. Very well played on their part. So just enough to provide that morale debuff to get our whole unit to rout. Yeah, that's kind of inevitable. We knew who was going to play that very well. But that was a really fun game. 1v1 those Romans, we actually really beat them, and we're left with quite a few units considering at the end, I think. I shouldn't have thrown my general array in that little bit there, and I should have probably kept some cavalry left alive, because that would have given me a lot more flexibility, particularly in chasing down some of those missile units when they were vulnerable, because we see sort of how much damage these Balearic slingers were able to rack up. You know, if we could have chased some of them down, then that would have really made my position a lot more favourable. I wouldn't have been forced to advance in the way that I had to. You know, I think I could have been a lot more stationary. So that's kind of a mistake, I think, on my part. But still, all in all, a really fun game. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully this was a bit more of an exciting one than some of them, because I know we've had some where I've just been completely either whitewashed them. So it's nice to have some tough opponents to fight up against. If you did, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War content.